Yes, good morning and welcome back to Pacific Fair Shopping Centre on the Gold Coast for the official weigh-in ahead of tomorrow's blockbuster world title showdown between Tim Tszyu and Brian Mendoza. A final chance for both men to have their say and to face off. And before we get our fighters up on stage, it is a very good morning to two-time world champion Sean Porter, who has made the long trip back down under, especially for this fight, and will be part of our broadcast again tomorrow. Great to see you. Welcome back.
Happy to be back.
Tell us firstly how excited you are about this fight and how much noise it's making back in the US.
Again, I'm just excited to see that we have a man in boxing who does not mind going to work. Tim fighting for the third time this year. In a lot of ways, I feel like it's remarkable. Fighters aren't busy anymore. They aren't staying active the way that I believe they should. And not only that, he's getting in the ring with good competition. You know what I mean? So I think it's a great fight for him. Brian Mendoza is a worthy challenger. We already know that. And I think it's going to be a great night.
The animosity, it's been building between these two. It went to another level yesterday when Brian Mendoza was late to the press conference. But how do you assess the tension in this fight compared to what Tim was up against in that last fight against Carlos Ocampo?
Again, if you guys have been paying attention to what I've been saying for some time now, this is my third time coming over here. I've seen Tim mature. I've seen Tim grow. And now I've seen him go up another level. And what I mean by that is he talked about the animosity that he has for Brian Mendoza. And he said, listen, it's nothing about Brian. I can't like the guy. And it's like he's starting to really connect these dots and put these pieces to the puzzle together. You can't like the guy that you're getting in the ring with. You have to look at that guy like he's coming to take something from me, and I have to protect this at all costs. And like he said, I'm protecting home, baby.
Yeah, he said the other day he's got a black heart, did Tim Tszyu. But What are you curious to see today? You know weigh-in day better than most. What will you be looking out for?
Just want to see the energy. You know, we always want to see if a fighter has that energy and that class that goes along with it. Tim has shown that day in and day out since I've been around him, and of course Brian Mendoza, seeing him back home, he's shown that as well. So I expect good energy from both these guys. I think both guys are really excited about what they plan to do tomorrow night.
All right, great to get your early thoughts. Let's get our fighters out here. Here's Ben Damon.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Gold Coast and welcome to World Title Fight Week. Tomorrow we see Tim Tszyu defend his WBO Super Welterweight Championship of the World against America's Brian Mendoza. Thanks for your company here for our weigh-in. The fights, of course, are on tomorrow, and this event is brought to you by No Limit Boxing Promotions with the support of strategic partners Tourism and Events Queensland and Major Events Gold Coast. To go through what is taking place tomorrow, it all begins at 9:30 local time. You'll see the action of the first two fights live on Fox Sports 507. And then we head to main event pay-per-view. Of course, main event is available via Foxtel or KO, and it all culminates in that world title fight. Can we hear it for Tim Tszyu and Brian Mendoza? No Limit Boxing Promotions represented here today by George Rose. George? How do you feel about being so close to such a big fight?
Mate, I'm absolutely loving it. Thank you everyone for turning up today and bringing that good energy. The fighters are going to love it, and they're going to really put on a fantastic show tomorrow.
Now we introduce our ring announcer to call out the fighters to weigh in ahead of this big day of boxing tomorrow. Please put your hands together for Lieutenant Dan Hennessy.
Good morning, Gold Coast. All right, here's what we're going to do to start this bad boy off, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to bring up all the people that have a little something to do with this world title event. You may start your applause now as we bring them up. We'll bring up our ring girls first. This is Ella, Louisa, and Charlie coming up to stage. From No Limit Boxing, we have George Rose and Matt Rose. The Mayor Tom Tain of the city of Gold Coast. The IBF supervisor, Ben Kilty. The WBO supervisor, Phil Austin. Mark Nelson is also coming up on stage. The ANBF is Mr. Adam Height. Let's get all of our officials up here on stage. All right, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to weigh in the first fight of the day? Make some noise! Awesome, it's almost like you had some practice there. Hey, the first fight of the day, we're going to start it off with 10 3-minute rounds. It's a championship super welterweight title fight. First fight of the day, a title fight. It's for the vacant IBF Pan-Pacific Super Welterweight title. Would you please put your hands together? Making his way to the stage, he'll be fighting out of the red corner on the night. This is the Boogeyman, Wade Ryan! The Boogeyman has 32 professional fights with 21 wins, 11 losses, 8 coming by way of knockout. Hailing and residing in Goodman, New South Wales, Australia. 69.74 for the Boogeyman. And fighting him, who has 20 professional fights with 19 wins, 1 loss, 13 big wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sergey Vorobev. Trained by Tony Del Vecchio, representing Bondi Boxing Club. 69.7 for Sergey Vorobev.
Sergey, your final words for Wade before this face-off.
Hey, Wade, I must break you.
All right, let's get these two fighters to face off. First fight of the day, ladies and gentlemen, a vacant IBF Pan-Pacific Super Welterweight title. Woo-wee! Make some noise for these two fighters! All right, our next fight, ladies and gentlemen, is 8 threes. Would you please welcome to the stage, fighting out of the red corner on the night, this is Danvers Kasheri. 4 professional fights, 3 wins, 1 loss, 2 big wins coming by way of knockout, residing in Sydney, New South Wales, trained by Ben Sava, representing Tony Mundine's gym. 64.52 for Danvers. And his opponent, making his way to the stage, fighting out of the blue corner tomorrow. Give it up for Honden! An undefeated professional fighter with 6 professional fights, 6 wins, 1 win coming by way of knockout. Hailing and residing in Sydney, New South Wales. He's the Australian super lightweight champion, trained by Jeff Fennick, representing Team Fennick. This is Hassan Honden on the scale. 64.34 for Hassan Honden. Another fight to circle, ladies and gentlemen. This one right here. Let's make some noise for these two fighters as they both made weight.
And ladies and gentlemen, Hampden is trained by legendary 4-time former world champion. Let's hear it for Jeff Fennick. What happens in this fight, Jeff?
We're prepared to fight 8 rounds, and I'm sure his opponent as well. I just think that Hass is one of the best young prospects on the scene at the moment, and you know, he took an Australian title fight in his 5th fight or 6th fight, so he's just getting better, and that's given him a lot of confidence. So we just want to thank No Limit and Fox for giving this opportunity, and he'll show the crowd how to fight with his hands, not with his mouth.
What happens in the main fight? Tim Tszyu, Brian Mendoza.
Oh, wow, it's a real tough fight. I mean, Mendoza is somebody who can punch, and when he punches, he doesn't let you get back up. So hopefully, well, Tim is always well prepared, so it's going to be a great fight, and of course, Tim's going to be victorious.
That's Jeff Fennick, ladies and gentlemen.
And that fight will headline our prelims. That fight right there. This next fight will open up our pay-per-view. It's 4 3-minute rounds in the heavyweight division. Now, everybody here's got a cell phone. You get on Google and you say, what boxer of all times, whoever laced up the gloves, who has the longest reach? It's the guy hitting stage next. 90-inch reach, 2.16 meters tall. Since Nikolai Valuev had retired, this gentleman is the biggest boxer on the planet. Would you please give a warm Gold Coast welcome for Julius, the Towering Inferno Long! Hailing from Romulus, Michigan, residing in Auckland, New Zealand, a former WBA Oceania heavyweight champion, trained by Matt Sobey, representing Tony Martin's gym in Auckland, New Zealand. This is the Towering Inferno, Julius Long. I bet you nobody thought they'd see this today. Julius, up on the scale, my good man. His opponent fighting out of the blue corner on the night. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome to the stage, Toisi Vosiutu.
Open up the door, watch all the G's forward. Smoke.
The boss has 6 professional fights, 5 wins, 1 loss. All of his wins come by way of knockout. Trained by Mashad Rasuli, representing Brothers Boxing.
Beat by down, shout out to the boy Cookie. Now I'm everything I could be. Shades on with a hoodie. Off a little something, so you think I got my eyes closed.
This is Toisi Vosiutu. The boss on the scales.
Like we gotta scan a barcode. Get so much A, cause we working out of ISO. Should've went Indies, but you didn't, now you dry snow. Baby, come to Brooklyn, yeah, you know they moving shit.
112.14 for Vosiutu.
Checking in deposits, got a shoot closet. Many companies closet, he a true prophet. In a true pocket, record club days, yeah, we used to be on my fit. Getting so much, what was so much in this world? Mine is what you make it, day, every day's a chance. I ain't never.
There's a lot of humanity right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yo, check the dash first.
Another fight to circle. Every fight, it's happening.
You know what we signed up for?
4 3s in heavyweight.
You know what we signed up for, yeah? I don't want to hear some stories, man.
Open up the door to G's for.
Hey, stop talking. Stop talking. Because all that barking that you're doing right now is fucking selling wolf tickets. Because when you fought Latali, you was doing that same bullshit, right? And you fucking lost. And your fucking team behind you is fucking disrespectful. And they fucking lost, right? So you fucking lost. Bottom line. Don't come at me with no fucking mouth. Don't come at me with no fucking mouth.
A round of applause for these 2 heavyweight fighters!
To the chicken like we eating out at Roscoe's. We was in the hood, really trapping up for iPhones. People move fake, then they act like they're reliable. Always speak truth, right hand on the Bible. Never stoop low, I'ma always take the high road. Now my son won.
This is going to be awesome!
I'ma always tuck my pride, bro. I'm Esco with the bars, got me feeling like Pablo. Hey,
alright, we'll let these guys clear.
About tomorrow. Do this for the people that just wanna see me shine, though. They was trying to rush us, but we really took our time, though. You ask me how I'm feeling, I'ma speak what's on my mind, bro. Booking up the flight, I think I'm trying to go to Cabo. I just wanna travel, going in and out of time zone. Came from the bottom, and it's really mind blown. Conscious to the you and Illmatic with a combo. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next fight is scheduled for 8 2-minute rounds. It is for the vacant female Australian Super Bantamweight title. Would you please welcome to the stage, fighting out of the red corner on the night, this is Amber Amelia. 4 professional fights, 3 wins, 1 loss, 1 win coming by way of knockout. Hailing from Gotch for New Macquarie, trained by Nathan Swadling, representing Box Camp. This is Amber Amelia. 54.74 for Amber Amelia. And her opponent fighting out of the blue corner on the night, making her way to the stage. Would you please put your hands together? This is Chanel Dargan! 5 professional fights for Chanel. 2 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws. Residing in Campbelltown, New South Wales, trained by Ben Sava and Aaron Bailey. Representing Campbelltown PCYC, this is Chanel Dargan. 54.94 for Dargan.
If you can say best, say less. I'm taking all best, say less. Talking too much, say less. If it's less than a check, say less. If you can say best, say less. I'm taking all best, say less. I'm a one-to-one, I can never be you. Little me tools, no, I can't be.
These are 2 of the best female fighters in the country, ladies and gentlemen. A round of applause for these 2 warriors.
You could do, I can do better. I can do better than you. Anything you could do, I can do better. I can do better than you. Yeah. I can never borrow from no man. How you talking ownership and no land? I got my roll on, I'm rolling. I drive up my cars like the stolen. You got on and put your homies out for ransom.
And that'll bring us to our next fight, ladies and gentlemen, is for the vacant IBF Australasian Super Featherweight title. Fighting out of the red corner of the night, making his way to the stage, this is Action Jackson, England. 16 professional fights, 14 wins, 2 losses, with 8 big wins coming by way of knockout. Hailing in Penrith, New South Wales, residing in Perth, Western Australia. 58.82 for Action Jackson, England. And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, making his way to the stage, this is Nathaniel May. 25 professional fights, 22 wins, 3 losses, 13 wins coming by way of knockout. That's amazing at this weight division. Hailing and residing in Bunbury, Western Australia, he is an IBF, Australasian and IBF Pan-Pacific featherweight champion. 58.86 for Nathaniel May.
Let's have a toast for the real ones. Have a toast for the They done baptized the bad guy. Still don't follow religion. Family's not average.
Once again, 10 threes
500 for the shoes come dirty, but the year
for the Super Featherweight Boxing Championship here.
up the score, I pull up from train.
Where's the belt? There's the belt.
Do what I can, I do what you can't. I run this 30,000 feet up, 10 toes stay G'd up. I'm trying to get that type of wealth like a house on the hills, can't see us.
Once again for the vacant IBF Australasian Super Featherweight title. These 2 are going to go hard. A round of applause for these 2 warriors.
And if you know the deal, then you know the deal.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest. Please put your hands together and welcome the Hall of Fame ring announcer. This is Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. A very good morning to you, and we welcome you as No Limit Boxing and the Rose Brothers present the weigh-ins for the featured attractions tomorrow day, and this big day of boxing presented in association with Premier Boxing Champions and TGB Promotions, live on Foxtel Main Event, KO Sports, and across the United States on Showtime Championship Boxing. And this weigh-in is presented by Pro H2O Sparkling Water. Well, fans, we're ready to bring our co-main event to the stage at this time. First, please welcome in this 12-round special attraction in the featherweight division. First, please welcome, joining us from Texas in the United States by way of Mexico, with 12 knockouts and his 25 wins. Here is the all-action, battle-ready, former world title challenger. Please welcome Miguel Flores. Miguel Flores weighs in 56.6 kilograms. 56.6.
Miguel Flores, your final thoughts ahead of this big fight here on the Gold Coast?
Man, we're ready. We're ready. The underdogs are going to come out on top, and we're going to put on the show for all the great people here in Australia, man.
Miguel Flores.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, his opponent joining us to the stage from Albion Park, New South Wales. He is undefeated in his campaign with a record of 15 wins, no losses, 7 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the undefeated IBF and WBO #1 super bantamweight in the world, Sam Goodman.
Charlie Summer wanted that you think a nigga answer. Whoa, telling me she wanted me to hammer. Trying to get saved, baby, I am not the answer. No, I can never trick, unless the bitch is my bitch. With a
Sam Goodman weighs in at 56.56 kilograms. 56.56.
Sam Goodman, some words for the Mad Bunch and everyone else who's here on the Gold Coast.
Hey, look at this. This is awesome. I can't wait to put on a show for you all tomorrow. Get there, get your tickets. It's going to be a hell of a fight.
That is Sam Goodman. Let's face them off.
Turn this shit off, bro. I can't rap how everybody else rap, bro. I've been mortified, 45, feeling like a Mordecai. I ain't regular, feel like...
There they are, ladies and gentlemen. Don't miss the action. One of our featured attractions, the co-main event. 12 rounds, featherweight special attraction. Sam Goodman versus Miguel Flores.
Don't run into the cops, that's the motto. I don't see it coming to an end like legato.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Australia's beautiful Gold Coast, No Limit Boxing and the Rose Brothers, in association with Premier Boxing Champions and TGB Promotions, presents the weigh-in for the featured attraction of the day, live on Foxtel Main Event KO Sports, sponsored by Strategic Partners Tourism and Events Queensland and Major Events Gold Coast. Well, our main event, 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO Super Welterweight Championship of the World. First, please welcome the challenger, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, by way of Albuquerque, New Mexico, in the United States. He is esteemed in his own right, holding the WBC Interim World Title belt. His record, 22 wins, 2 losses, with 16 wins coming by way of knockout. He will be making his Australian and international debut. Please welcome the WBO #2 ranked contender in the world, introducing Brian "La Bala" Mendoza.
Ain't no way I made a way. Call my lane, I paved the way. Drew it up nice, I made the play. What a good day to get paid today. What ain't no way I made a way. Call my lane, I paved the way. Drew it up nice, I made the play. Ball on the fade away. Hey. 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 Hey. Ball on the all my mama, I'ma need all them commas. Tell them I'll start that drama. Long-term smoke like an all-day sauna. Fried with the on none. Feeling like my lungs and I'm feeling like y'all too, man. I don't care what y'all do. Better have my check with enthusiasm. Finna make a cool get moody. Yeah, the mama.
Brian Mendoza tips the scale right at the limit of 69.85 kilograms or 154 pounds.
No Pepto. Made plays with the Petro. Talking to a doer, not a preacher. Booming in the street like I'm booming in the speaker. Truest in the game, still a student and a teacher.
Let's hear it again for the challenger. This is Brian Mendoza. A couple of boos for you there.
A little bit, man. I honestly appreciate all the love, man. I know that tomorrow might be a little bit more of a hostile crowd, but I'm just here to put on a great show for you guys and take this belt home.
What happens in this fight tomorrow, Brian?
My hand gets raised at the end of the night, and the new WBO Super Welterweight World Champion, Brian "La Bala" Mendoza.
That is Brian "La Bala" Mendoza.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we invite to the stage the defending world champion, representing the elite boxing family dynasty from Sydney, Australia. Undefeated at 23 wins, no losses, 17 wins coming by way of knockout. He is boxing's popular star of Australia. Please welcome the undefeated, reigning and defending WBO Super Welterweight Champion of the World, Tim Tszyu. in at 69.44 kilograms, 69.44, 153 pounds.
Tim Tszyu, just have a look around at all the people that have come here for a weigh-in for this monster fight. How does it feel to be a world champion and to be about to defend your belt right here?
This is the reason why I do it, for every single one of you.
What are your final words ahead of your first defense of your belt?
I live for these moments, and tomorrow night we get the job done.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Tim Tszyu. Let's face them off for our world title fight.
There they are, ladies and gentlemen. It is for the championship of the world, the WBO Super Welterweight Championship of the World. Tim Tszyu versus Brian "La Bala" Mendoza. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for this? Make some noise for these two fighters!
It is Tim Tszyu and Brian Mendoza. We'll see you tomorrow at this world title fight.
So there we go, Tim Tszyu and Brian Mendoza locking eyes for the final time before they meet in the ring tomorrow afternoon at the Gold Coast Convention and Exhibition Centre. Order this fight now through mainevent.com.au or scan that QR code on your screen if you haven't already. Two-time world champion Sean Porter alongside me. Sean, what did you see in that final stare-off?
Nothing. No, both guys look good. I tell you what I did see. Brian Mendoza is rocked up. That dude got some muscles. And so where I thought that Tim's going to handle this, it's not going to be easy work, but I think it's going to be a hard night that Tim, I was looking at 60-40 for Tim Tszyu. Now I'm looking at 55-40. You do the rest of the math, but it's a closer fight than I thought it was going to be based on muscles.
Is he always that ripped on?
I don't remember him looking like that ever, you know? So, no, I think if anything, it shows that he put the work in. When you come overseas, you got a hostile environment that you got to play with. You got your time is just completely flipped around, and you got other things to worry about and things like that. Now, seeing that he put that work in, it lets me know that, hey, this time change might not be too much of an issue. This crowd might not be too much of an issue. So it's gonna be a good one.
Well, the man himself joins us now. Tim Tszyu, great to see you. How are you feeling first and foremost?
Yeah, good. Nice and relaxed. Enjoying every moment. You know, I said it before, I live for these moments, for stuff like this.
Saw you yesterday at the press conference. You're a little harder at the press conference. Not calling you soft, but you look a little softer now. How the transition of being now so calm and smooth? How have you been able to transform like this?
Yeah, it's just I haven't had much thought about. I'm not overthinking things.
Yeah.
I'm really just like zoned in, but at the same time, just nice and relaxed.
Yeah, I saw yesterday that you said, "Hey, I don't like him right now. It's nothing personal. I just don't like him." And I told her, I said, "Listen, he's starting to connect these dots. He knows that you're coming to take my belt. I can't let you take this possession." Talk to us about your mindset for this fight.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I know that this is the last hooray here in Australia, so I feel like it's a responsibility for me to defend this crown that I've got right now.
Yeah.
And the opportunity that arises from this is endless.
Yeah.
You're so relaxed to the point that you just shook Brian Mendoza's hand. We don't always see that from you 24 hours out from a fight.
Yeah, usually I'm in more of a dog mode. So I'm more relaxed. I've really put a lot into this camp, and everything has just played out real smoothly.
You said that you're feeling like, yesterday you told us you're feeling like a sniper. going into this fight. Tell us a bit more how that feels.
Just intelligent and relaxed, calm control of yourself. Like I feel in full control, and it's crazy. To be living this type of moment right now, it's crazy.
What do you do in camp that has allowed you to transition? What have we heard? We've heard eagle.
Yeah.
Did we hear tiger? What did we? Pit bull. We heard pit bull on the last one.
Yeah.
And I said it sounds like a sniper. Sound like a viper for this one. You know what I mean? What did you do in camp to now you're a sniper for this one?
Just living in the moment, living in the present moment. A lot of been talk about Charlo and the stuff ahead, but I've really just, you know what, just completely ignored that and just focused on what's right here, right now.
You say this is the last one in Australia. Are you ready for that? You ready to leave all this?
I know it's hard, man. It's hard. This is unbelievable, but I want to chase glory.
Yeah.
You know, I want to chase glory, and it's time that I step it up.
Tell us what you saw looking for that final time in Brian Mendoza's eyes. Did you see anything that suggests that he is worried going into this fight?
No, he's ready to go. We're both ready to go. We're professionals, you know. You can't see much in eyes for me, you know. For me, it's just like we're both ready to go. Yeah, it's quite simple, you know. In the ring, we'll prove it all.
We can't wait, Tim. Appreciate your time. Go and get out of this heat. We'll see you tomorrow. We're going to bring in Brian Mendoza. He's going to come in. His grandfather Boris joining us as well. Brian,
how's it going?
Great to see you. You two know each other.
You checking me?
Listen, you look like a machine, bruh.
I feel like one, man.
Yeah.
This camp has been crazy, man. You know, I talked to you on your podcast before about the work ethic, the hard work. Man, it pays off. I feel incredible right now.
Very good.
Is this better than what you felt in your previous fights? How do you compare it?
I'm sorry?
How do you compare today to...
There's no comparison. Each fight out, I don't take time off in between fights. You know, maybe 2-3 weeks, I'm already, you know, locking back in and leveling up in between fights, you know. So that way camp, we're just going strong already and everything. So each time out, there's no comparison. I have new limits, you know, we keep reaching each time out. And you guys are going to see a much more explosive, fast, sharp, intelligent fighter in there. And I just have so much to show. I can't wait.
I'm still kind of like tripping. I can't say I'm mesmerized. I can't say that about you. But I was telling, what kind of work have you really been putting in for this one, and why?
Because, man, winning this fight changes my family's life.
Yeah.
That's who I do it for. That's my why. My family, man, my close, you know, I have a small circle, my team, you know, and everything. It's for them. I push through every day. Every day I wanted to quit and just, you know, the suffering you go through in camp, you know. Every day I felt that. I just thought of my family and pushed through. I always found a way. And that's what I'm going to do tomorrow night, man. That's my why. And, man, just my strength coach, Tony Brady, just phenomenal, you know, as far as strength and conditioning and even mental, you know, pushing those limits and everything, just creating, you know, those mental calluses, you know, like David Goggins always talks about. And the intelligence behind Ismail Salas and everything, they blended perfectly to create the fighter you see before you now.
I got to do this to you. Fighters don't like to talk X's and O's. They always like to say, my hand will be raised at the end of the night. I promise you, nobody's going to see this. Nobody's going to tell Tim. But I got to know, how does your hand get raised against Tim Tszyu in Australia?
Man, there's going to be, I think you guys are going to see a lot of adjustments because, you know, some of the things he's saying, I feel like he's going to come with a bit of a different style. I think, you know, he realizes the same, you know, there's levels to this. And me and him are the top two in the division right now.
Yeah.
And you're going to see a lot of change-ups, man. But, you know, definitely fundamentals. You're going to see me, you know, fundamentally sound, working on stuff, setting traps, and working off my jab, you know, basically. That's something, I don't care who you tell, man.
I got one more for you. Ismail Salah, you've been working with him for a little while now, for a number of years now. How has he molded you and changed you from the fighter you were prior to him?
Man, it's to the point, you know, sometimes I don't like watching my old videos from before I got with him.
Yeah.
We broke everything down, and obviously, you know, my strengths, we build on them and everything, but just all the little weaknesses, all the holes in the game, we just went perfecting them little by little. And then I think what makes me different as a fighter is that, you know, a lot of fighters come in and they work on their strengths. They fix at what they're good at, and that's it. They always get better at what they already do. I'm constantly adding new facets to my game. You know, it's always different. You know, I didn't used to have, you know, the tighter punches, maybe elbows in, you know, certain traps I set. I do a lot of studying and stuff. So it's intelligence, man. The intelligence and the fundamentals, it just blends together beautifully.
Finally, tell us what the next 24 hours will look like for you. How much weight do you think you'll be able to put back on?
I'm not sure, you know, maybe like 15-ish pounds or so. I don't know how many kilograms that is, but it's...
we don't talk weight.
Yeah, for real. I know. I'll give you an estimate, but no, the thing is to go in there healthy, because even if I gain more or less, the point is don't go in there bloated. You're not going to see me eating cake and chocolate. Oh, I need a little sugar. Let me get some ice cream. Yeah. I leave no stone unturned, and that's why even in the last fight, you saw, you know, I'm behind on the cards and everything. I had a calm face, calm demeanor, because I know I did everything right, and I'm willing to go through whatever fire I need to go through to get my hand raised.
We can't wait to see what you've got in store for us tomorrow, Brian. Go and get out of this heat.
Excited.
We're excited too. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
You too.
Pleasure.
I'll take that from you.
All right, appreciate that.
No problem.
And let's hand it to... he's got his own right, legendary Hall of Fame ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr. So good to have you back here for a third time, both of you, in 7 months. How does it feel to be back on the sunny Gold Coast?
It's very special. It's always very special to be here. I love it. I wasn't aware of how great the undercard is. I just found out today that it's some great fights, so I'm excited about it. And man, what energy this crowd brings to the weigh-in. It's going to be fantastic tomorrow.
What do you see happening in our main event tomorrow night?
Yeah, you know, I believe that without question, this is Tim's toughest test, and he's continuing to step it up, and I think it's going to be a tough fight for him. Brian Mendoza is a very good fighter, very skilled. He's on his way up as well as Tim, so I think it's going to be a very good fight. I refrain from predicting who will win always, but I do think a good fight. It's going to go longer than that last fight with Carlos Ocampo.
Yeah. Jimmy, we got two stories here, and I can't choose which one I like more, which one I really want to root for if I could. You got a story where you got one fighter who's came from practically nothing, was almost written off, and has completely climbed himself back into real contention. And you got another fighter who's fighting out of his father's shadow, has practically jumped out of his dad's shadow, and it's like, I feel like this is the one. Which story is the one we see come out on top tomorrow night?
You know, I like those two stories very much. You know, Tim has done something that's very difficult to do, and that's to follow in his father's footsteps. You know, coming out of a legend of boxing, and it's rare. It's not done very often, and Tim is doing it. He has earned the respect in his own right. He has taken on tough fighters. You can see he's a risk taker. He's very confident in and out of the ring. So I'm very impressed by that. But Brian Mendoza is hard to dislike. I mean, he has come from a difficult place, a great gentleman, and you know, as I mentioned just a moment ago, he's on the rise. Upset fighter, making some big wins. A lot is at stake for him in this fight.
You both followed his journey, you know, a lot closer than we have in recent times. You know, is there anything about him that we're missing? Do you think anything we don't know? We've seen all the footage, we know about his punching power in the ring, but is there anything he can tell us that maybe we don't know?
Brian Mendoza, that is. So I talked a little bit about Ismael Salah. This is head coach. His head coach comes from Cuba. I mean, we know their pedigree in boxing. And even from that standpoint, Ismael Salah has traveled the entire world just to get to America to do what he loves to do. And what he does is he instills fundamentals into his fighters. And so you have a fighter like Brian, like he said, he doesn't like to watch his old footage. He knows that he was sloppy. He knows that he could have tightened up some things. And so from that standpoint, when you talk about he and now Ismael being together as long as they have, multiple years now, you got a really great and almost fresh fighter getting in the ring, strong fighter, and very courageous and confident based on what he's been able to do continuously now in multiple fights. So I really don't think it's a matter of what haven't we seen in film. It's the things that you don't see, those intangibles right there. And those are usually the hardest intangibles to beat.
Yeah, and he says a lot of his hunger comes from the fact that he knows what it's like to be down and out. He's had those losses. Yeah, he never wants to be in that position again. How does that compare to someone like Tim, who is, you know, has a clean record? He doesn't have a loss to his name.
You know, when I look at his body, and I know I really complimented him and things like that, and then he even said himself, he takes 2 to 3 weeks out of camp, and he's always working. Too much work. You know, a lot of work could be too much work, you know, so I'm hoping that he's not run down and overworked, and I hope he's ready to come in here and put in. Sometimes you gotta leave work at the gym, you know what I mean? So I'm hoping that he was able to do that. But the way he looks, man, he looks fantastic, and I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that's not the case.
I know you don't want to give us a prediction, but does a fight like this, does it go the distance, or is one of them going to get the other out of there? Pretty
He has a
smart.
good chance of going the distance. Certainly, as I said, longer than the last fight with 77 seconds with Ocampo. It has a good chance of going the distance on this fight, as well as the co-main event with Sam Goodman and Miguel Flores. Good chance of that going the distance as well.
I will say this fight goes the distance. Tim doesn't look as good as he's looked in the past and things like that. He just has to win. At this point, when you're Tim Tszyu, you just have to win, okay? Not every fight you're going to look spectacular and things like that. Understand that Brian Mendoza is like second best to Jamel Charlo at this point. Well, I mean, can we really say that about Jamel now? But the point is, this is going to be a really competitive fight. It's a fight that in a lot of ways could go either way, you know? So I just want to encourage everybody, don't write Tim off if he doesn't look the way he's looked in his previous 2 outings. This is going to be a tough test for him.
Were you surprised to see Tim shake Brian's hand? I mean, we know the hatred is very real in this fight, but that was quite interesting to see.
It was very interesting, and we know that Tim also gets quite emotional and build up and has almost hatred towards his opponent. That's his MO, and understand it. So I was a little surprised to see him do that, but he's a professional. They both made weight. The fight is on, and there's nothing to prove except when the bell rings for number 1 tomorrow.
It says there is respect. Respect is real between these two fighters as well.
Oh, yeah. Respect, it covers boxing. Usually when there's no respect, it's because somebody said something really, really disrespectful. But for the most part, boxing covers every facet of life. One of those facets, of course, being respect. The thing that I take away from it is like, people have to understand that we're still human. Sometimes we may look superhuman, but we're still human. So to see him come off of that and still give that respect lets us know that, hey, he understands what he's getting in the ring with, and he knows, hey, I got to respect this guy now, because if I don't now, I won't know how to in the ring. When you don't respect somebody in the ring, that's when you take chances, and sometimes you're not lucky with some of those chances.
Gentlemen, appreciate your time this morning. Let's get out of this heat because it's so hot. It's going to be a lot cooler at the Gold Coast Convention Centre tomorrow. We are on air from midday Eastern Daylight Time. It's 11 a.m. local time. Really appreciate your thoughts this morning, and we'll see you tomorrow at the fight. If you haven't already, order this fight now. Go to mainevent.com.au or scan this QR code on your screen. We'll see you at midday tomorrow.
Tim Tszyu strutted into 2023 with a reputation. At home, he was a world champion in waiting. But in the US, where opinions carry power and power carries belts, it was a much different story.
He's going to face some really tough guys in this division.
That's exactly what we've seen.
You still got things to learn.
We're not beat Harrison.
No, you're not going to be here. That's why that's not going to happen.
Boy, did he prove them wrong. In 2 breathtaking fights, Tszyu dismantled both his opponents and his critics.
He's looking to stop Tony Harrison and drops him.
His knockout of Tony Harrison was the silencer.
He further legitimized himself as a contender.
His 72-second demolition of Carlos Ocampo, the viral boxing moment of the year, that put